Hey guys, Blepnir here with another team review, and today we're just going to be looking over a team consisting of Driftbloom on the lead, Shadow MAGMORTAR as the safe swap, and Lucario with Close Combat in the back, Close Combat and Shadow Ball. I really like this team. I like Shadow MAGMORTAR. I think it's cool. It's really good in the meta because it beats things like Lucario. It can beat Driftbloom if it successfully calls the Icy Wind. Can beat Frostlass. It forces shields from common meta Pokemon like Empoleon, even though Empoleon should be a hard counter to it. And with energy, it can wreak a lot of havoc because it gets to those fire punches and brick breaks so quickly that it's almost guaranteed to get a shield. And then Riola with close combat in the back, Lucario with close combat in the back. A lot of people expect Lucario to have power up punch, so a lot of people will not shield that first close combat. So let's see how these battles go. We have Driftbloom into Bastiodon. This is a negative lead, so I'm going to immediately switch into my MAGMORTAR. And even though MAGMORTAR is taking super effective damage from the Smackdowns, the double super effective Karate Chops, double super effective Brick Breaks are enough to threaten the Bastiodon out. And they come in with their Driftbloom here, and you're going to see that the Driftbloom is actually forced to shield because MAGMORTAR just gets to those moves so quickly. They go for the Icy Wind, they take us out, and so now I'm going into my own Driftbloom, and they allow me to get to this Icy Wind. So they go down with so much energy here, which is good for me. I can come into Lucario, and they have Cresselia in the back. So this is pretty safe here. I should be able to win with a shield advantage. They do shield up the first one, so now they have no shields. I could call this as a Grass Knot, but it's kind of risky, so I shield, and it is the Grass Knot. I shield again here because I just think that I can successfully get to this Shadow Ball and counter down before they get to another move. Let's see if I'm correct. And I am correct, so it's good that I shielded those moves. They are going to get to a flamethrower here. So now the question becomes, will I be able to KO them with this Shadow Ball? It's going to be very close. And they die with the move. So really close game there. I could have potentially caught the flamethrower on Driftbloom. So this is the hardest counter you can see. The whatever you call it, Gastropod only throws double resisted moves at Driftbloom. And so what happened there is that the Abomasmo expected me to have Power Up Punch, so they thought they could live that Power Up Punch and get to their move, but they were not able to get to a move, so that's really good. Unfortunately, I'm not able to get to the second close combat because I get debuffed, and so I could have farmed up more there with the Driftbloom. That was my mistake. And they have a Frostlass in the back. I don't go up to the Shadow Ball, which is my second mistake. I'm really playing it off the cuff here. I'm just spamming out these Brick Breaks because I know they have to shield up something, right? So I'm going to call this, I think. Yeah, it's just the Avalanche. So you see how much Avalanche does to a Shadow MAGMORTAR there. Shadow MAGMORTAR is squishy, but it's not so squishy that it can't survive a single resisted, pretty powerful move. So that's nice. So it just keeps spamming out these Brick Breaks, and you see here that the resisted Karate Chops plus the resisted Brick Breaks are actually enough to take out this Frostlass. So Shadow MAGMORTAR really coming in clutch there for resisting the Ice-type moves. So this is kind of a positive matchup for the Driftbloom, but I just decided to switch into MAGMORTARs, just thinking that the whatever it's called, the the Gliscor would switch out, and they did. They switched into Barbarrel, so now you can see that, unfortunately, I just barely don't do enough damage to Barbarrel to take it out. So I come into Driftblim and experience some lag here. I just go for the Hail Mary Icy Wind. Luckily, they don't throw the Night Slash first. They are using Fury Cutter, so this Night Slash would do about 50%, a little bit less than 50 because they took the Icy Wind. And so I just blind swap into my Riolu, and they blind swap into Drifblim. This should be okay here because I'm going to force these shields with the Shadow Balls, and I should be able to come into my own Drifblim and take them out with the Shadow Ball. I have 2 shields, they have 0 shields. I get to the Shadow Ball first, luckily, because I have a little bit of residual energy, and I take them out. And just showing how useful Icy Wind is here against the Gliscor. We have Drifblim into Drifblim mirror match. There's a few ways that you can play this. I like to just go straight for the Icy Wind, and they also go straight for the Icy Wind, so this is pretty good because I can just let this go and go for my own Icy Wind, and then I can come into my Magmortar, and Magmortar will outpace this Drifblim to the next move. They catch onto Empoleon, which is not bad because I'm still going to get to this Brick Break here. Flamethrower and Brick Break do about the same amount. So, not Flamethrower. Fire Punch and Brick Break do about the same amount. So I come into Lucario here, and luckily they don't get to a move. So I get a little bit of energy on Lucario, which is really nice. They come into Drifblim. So I just switched to my own Drifblim to catch this Icy Wind because I want to preserve my Lucario. I can just go straight for the Shadow Ball here. I'm thinking that they're probably not going to shield this. Yeah. And they have a Drapion on the back. So here I'm thinking I'm going to shield so that they think that I'm baiting the close combat. And they do, it's a hard matchup for the Drapion because if it's a power punch, then they definitely don't want to shield the first one. But I really like close combat because of that fact that they rarely shield the first one. And so now you get to see the Empoleon versus Magmortar matchup. The Drapion, the Empoleon, I believe, can actually no-shield that move and just barely come out of this matchup, but they usually don't risk it. So they go shield down, so I can use my own shield here. I'm going to get a lot of farm, which is really nice. They go for a Drill Peck instead of a Hydro Cannon, but I'm pretty sure that would have KO'd me anyway because it's neutral damage. Hydro Cannon definitely would have done more. And so I just go straight into my Drifblim here because I can tank this Crunch and farm down if they allow me to. But they come into their Cresselia here. So I'm going to go for the Shadow Ball just because I can just keep pumping out these Shadow Balls on both my Drifblim and my Lucario. I should be able to land the Shadow Ball from Lucario. It is kind of risky because their Moonblast has a chance to debuff me, in which case I might not KO them. So I have to hope that their Moonblast does not debuff. And it doesn't. So this Shadow Ball should take out the Cresselia here. Yep, that's a lot of damage to a very bulky Cresselia. And so you see there the close combat coming in handy once again because the opponent just simply isn't able to predict whether I have Power Punch or Close Combat. This time around with the Empoleon, I am going for the Icy Wind. I go back and forth between the Shadow Ball and the Icy Wind. It's probably safer just go to Shadow Ball, so I get a shield for a shield, or I get them really low. Because if they shield, I can come in with my Magmortar, and the cumulative Hex plus Karate Chop damage should put them into Brick Break range, so I would be able to get the second shield or kill them. So yeah, the safest thing to do is to go for the Shadow Ball just to get the guaranteed damage or to take their shield. But luckily, as it stands, they come in with their their Lucario, and they actually shield up the Fire Punch. Fire Punch would definitely do more than Brick Break, right? Because Brick Break is not a very good move, and Fire Punch is same type ability bonus. And at that point, the game was over because Empoleon would not be able to take down Lucario with 2 shields. And so here, I just kind of blind swap into Lucario. This is not a terrible matchup, just because I have this Shadow Ball. I'm going to get shield advantage here. The only problem is that now they're going to get a ton of farm. They're almost at 100 energy. So I have to absorb this damage. And I decide to absorb it on Magmortar because Magmortar will resist this Moonblast, unlike my Drifblim. So I take the Moonblast. I'm going to go for this Fire Punch. And if they don't shield, this should put them in farm down range for my Drifblim. And my Drifblim is going to take this Moonblast like a champ because Drifblim is quite bulky. And so now I can go for this Shadow Ball. I'm thinking that they might call it as an Icy Wind. And luckily they do. So that was good Shadow Ball, to be sure. And now they just have their full health Toxicroak left. And this is a very dominant matchup. I'm just going to spam out these Icy Winds because Toxicroak is so fragile that they're just going to shield everything. They don't have any shields left. I actually go for the Icy Wind. And I could have gone for the Shadow Ball there. No real reason to go for the Icy Wind. But I figured that I'd be able to get the Toxicroak down regardless because I have 2 shields. So at this point, I just need 2 hexes to take it down. And yeah, so a little closer than it needed to be because they could have potentially countered me down. But when the counters are triple resisted, they really don't have any fast move pressure at all. So here I again go for the Icy Wind, and luckily they shield. Again, I really think that I should be going for Shadow Ball there because the Icy Wind, if it's blocked, if it's called and they don't block it, will really not do much damage at all, and it would put me in a pretty negative position. So, but luckily as it stands here, they let their Empoleon go, and they throw their energy on Drapion. So this is looking pretty good. I can come in with my Lucario and just go straight for the close combat. Once again, these people do not want to shield up the first power-up punch. So take this non-stab Aqua Tail like a champ. Go for the close combat. And they let it go. And so now I'm going to go for the Icy Wind here. Luckily, I get off my move first. They call the Icy Wind, but at this point I can just get them down with the hexes and the close combat. So I'm just going to go straight for the Icy Wind here. And they're going to have to throw their own energy to take me out. So they throw their own energy, and I should be able to get to this close combat here. Yeah, just barely able to get there, but Riolu wins CMP over the Drifblim. So now we have Drifblim, a little bit of lag, Drifblim into Empoleon, and this time around I go for Shadow Ball. So playing it safe, going for the Shadow Ball, and I land it. So it's really good that I start going for the Shadow Ball here. I'm going to go for Fire Punches. And you can see here that the first Fire Punch does more than 50% of the Drifblim's health, luckily. Neutral Fire Punches do so much from Shadow Magmortar. It's such a glass cannon. And they're going to have to shield this next one. So they get some farm, but I get a shield advantage. Let's see if I can get to this Icy Wind here. I was thinking about catching this onto my Lucario, but fortunately I don't because it is a Shadow Ball. And they're going to go for a second Shadow Ball here. So, okay, so they actually got a visual glitch. They got the Drill Peck off on the Empoleon, which is unfortunate. But they have a Tangrowth in the back. So once again, you love to see it. The big close combat coming in. They don't want to shield, right? Boom. Really satisfying. I can get to the second close combat. They have to shield this. And at this point, I should be able to just barely farm down with Lucario. So in this case, yeah, it was a kind of interesting match because close combat does lower my defense, which is awkward. But luckily, because Lucario just has such a high attack stat, does so much with counters, I was able to farm it down. Drifblim gets a shield from Frostlass. And now, luckily, I get to this Fire Punch at the same time that the Frostlass decides to throw its move because I win CMP, and Frostlass is so glass cannony that a lot of people expected to win CMP over Magmortar, but this Magmortar actually wins CMP over most Frostlasses, so I do get off the Fire Punch there, which is really nice, and so now they're a shield behind, and I got rid of 2 of their Pokemon. At this point, I should be able to safely take out this Drifblim with either one of my Pokemon. I'm expecting them to no-shield this, but it's safer to spam out these Icy Winds and potentially get taken out. So I can just come in with my Lucario here, and I could probably safely shield this. I decided not to shield it because they are Icy Wind debuffed. So I go for the Shadow Ball. And they get taken out. So luckily, even though I was Icy Wind debuffed, that was enough to take them out. Yeah, so this team was super fun. I love Shadow Magmortar. This is one of the few opportunities that I've had to use it. It might be good in the Love Cup as well, but as it stands, I really just enjoy having all those nuke moves between the Shadow Ball, the Fire Punch / Brick Break, and then the close combat and Shadow Ball in the back. A lot of times the opponents will just not be able to shield the right moves, and that's really satisfying to see them go down with a lot of energy. So that's all for today. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and let me know if this helped you out or how your own Sinnoh Cup battles are going. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.